YouTube channel. Hey everybody, welcome to the ClemPlays YouTube channel. So, this is part 2 of the musicians and artists sort of a music ramble that I want to do. In this one we've got a lot more sort of relatively recent artists. We've got one very recent, one not so recent, but the artists are still doing stuff now, and one that's just completely out there that you probably would never have heard of. And if you have heard of him, let's go. So the first one I want to talk about is sort of the transition between the first part and the second part, which is going to be n-dubz. You know, I've talked about these quite a bit. In fact, there's actually an article here. No. Anyway, yeah. So, I was a big fan of n-dubz. I remember getting the first album in Derby, or HMV when that was still there. I think it's a nationwide now. I remember getting that first album after listening to a track on. My dad used to have Virgin Media, and obviously you got the music channels on there. I remember someone said there's a brand new single out by this group of 3 people. It had like Chiliza, Phaser and Dappy, and I was like, Dappy sounds like a sick name. And then I listened to it and I was like, it was ouch, because that was the, I don't think it was the first release. Was it the first single they released? It has to have been anyway. So I listened to that and I was like, that was litty, because by this point I'd already like, this was 2008. No way. No way. That's ridiculous. Anyway. So yeah, I'd listened to the song, and it was the same time I just started getting into Eminem and maybe Dizzy Rascal, and just a few different sort of rap artists, and I was building up the repertoire of that being my favourite sort of genre. And so that came on and I was like, yo, the guys are from England, and they're banging it. And I was like, I like this, I can bop to it, it's sick. Let's go out and grab their album. You know, I think I had like pocket money of about 7 or 8 quid. Went to HMV, bought it. I've lost the album now, as in the actual CD form, and I'm fuming. I lost that years ago and I'm still pissed. If anyone's got it and wants to send it me, it'll be mad, but I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I bopped along to that, and that was one of the best albums. I ended up putting that on my MP3 player that I had as a kid, and I remember just listening to that every night. Wow, what an album that was. There's so many absolute bangers on there. You've got Ouch, I Swear. No, I want Uncle B, please. There we go. If it lets me see the tracks, there we go. So you had, wouldn't you? You had Strong Again, which got onto, what's it called? That dance, the dance movie, Step Up. I think it was in Step Up 3, or something like that. It was Strong Again. That was a track. Don't Get 9 was always been one of my favourites. I Swear, Ouch, Better Not Waste My Time, and Love for My Slum. I loved Sex. That was always the one that I put on, but no one could know I was listening to it, because the lyrics, when I was like, 11, 12 years old, they were too vulgar for me, so I told my mum I'd never listen to it, but I was like, let's bop to this, because I just found the lyrics funny, because I was immature. But nowadays I'm still bopping along to it just the same way I was when I was a kid. And then obviously the deep one was Papa Can You Hear Me. That one just was like, it was an absolute track and a half, and I loved it. Funny little thing about this. Right, I don't know if you guys in the UK or anywhere else, we have like, when you're at school, you have like non-uniform days where you don't have to go in your uniform. You pay like £1 and it goes to charity. Well, I think it's the lesson before you break up for Christmas when I was at primary school. We had a non-uniform day, you'd pay £1, but then also you brought all your toys in. So if you had like, I don't know, Monopoly or a board game, or you wanted to bring some colouring books in or anything. And for like the whole day, that's all you did. You'd go to different classrooms, play with different people. I don't know if you still do it nowadays, but that's what we used to do on the last day before Christmas. And obviously I had this album. It was like primary school. I must have been at primary. Oh, this is making my head melt. That's ridiculous. But anyway, I was at primary school when this came out. This is how long ago I've been bopping to it. But yeah, my teacher, who I still love to this day, she was lovely. I still see her. She comes into the shop sometimes. I don't think she recognises me though. She brought in 3 albums that her husband had given her in the morning. 2 of them being Christmas albums, and one of them accidentally being Uncle B by n-dubz. Me and a few of my mates had already heard this and thought we've got to sneak that into the music system in our classroom because the little CD player we had. And she was like, I've got 3 CDs, one of them being like, you know, the Christmas party songs, one of them being, it had to be Michael Bublé oriented surely, or something or other. Or maybe it was like a cartoon Christmas one, where like some cartoon, I can't remember. And then it was like this n-dubz one that I've never heard, because obviously she was quite a prude. Was prude the right word? Yeah, prude and crude. Yeah, she was quite prude, which means that, like, as far as I'm aware, because she was a teacher, it was sort of that. I never swore, never did anything naughty. But you can tell her husband was an absolute legend for sticking us this CD, because me and my mates were like, please miss, can we put this one on? And she was like, you can put that one on later, let's listen to the Christmas ones first. So the Christmas ones were coming on. And then we put the n-dubz one on. And I could see my teacher sort of dancing along going, yeah, I can envision her having to listen to it when her husband drives the car or something like that, and she knows a few of the lyrics but doesn't really know enough about them to know that they're like next level grime, and this isn't particularly suitable for 10 to 12 year olds. Anyway, so we're going through, and then she's looking through the things and she sees the song Sex, and she's like, she pulls me and my mate to one side and goes, if you notice this one come on, because I know you recognise some of the songs, can you just skip it, because I don't think it's quite appropriate. And we're like, yeah. I can still see her face to this day. Anyway, next night I'm playing with these toys. We're playing Subbuteo, we're playing Connect 4, we're playing all these like litty games like Monopoly, and we used to have this game that was like, oh my god, I'm remembering it now. It had like these like turntables, and you have to like, I think you'd rolled a dice or something, or you picked up a card, and it told you how many times you can turn. On your turn, each side had these little tokens, and these twisty things twisted the same way, but they had like holes in different places. You had to try and be like tactical to move all your counters to the bottom before their counters got somewhere. Does that make sense? But obviously you couldn't see their counters dropping into the specific like cogs and used to turn things. This is going to be really hard to explain, so I might include a picture of that just so you get the idea of it. I may have to get that because that game was good. Yeah, so anyway, I remember playing that. And next thing you know, I start tuning back into the music, and we're halfway through this song. And my teacher goes, Luke, come here. And she's trying to like fiddle with the music system, and she couldn't do it because she'd been trying to skip this song. And her face was an absolute picture because she's listening to all these lyrics about like sticking webcams up your tushy, and it's just, if you've never heard of it, let me try and get the lyrics. The first line to the lyrics is, I don't mean to be pushy, I'm in it for the pussy. It's that sort of lyrics. I can just see her like getting really like flustered before, because bearing in mind you've got kids running in and out each room, you'll have teachers going in and out each room to keep an eye on like certain students and whatever. So I can just envision her thinking, shit, someone's going to come in a minute and listen to this and think, why the fuck can you like listen to this sort of music? But I remember it because her face was, she was trying so hard to skip the song. Anyway, we skipped it, and then I think she took the CD back home and never ever let us listen to anything like that again. But that was one of the reasons that album stuck in my head. Wow, I went on a bit of a tangent, didn't I? That being said, you've also got other albums. Love Live Life, for me, was the worst of the 3 albums. I know a lot of people say it was the best, because it was a little bit more gritty. The songs were a bit more grimy, a bit more I don't know. Oh, how can I describe it? I think for me they were just a bit, because I had Uncle B on, and then Love Live Life came out, and I thought, oh no, Against All Odds came out. I never really hit the songs too much. I listened to Playing With Fire, I Need You, number one. They were all absolute bangers. There was no doubt about that. There was a few songs like Say It's Over, Should Have Put Something On, Comfortable. That was a Chalisa solo song apparently. Suck Yourself. And I just didn't really find the rhythm with them. They weren't quite as... Okay, I'll flip that. They weren't quite as grimy, they were a bit more poppy. And I wasn't a fan of that. Because it was sort of that in-between, and I was a bit... They're trying to be a bit of both and it wasn't working. But Dooku Man skit. No, I tell a lie. Dooku Man skit is not my favourite skit. It's 3 skits. 2 of them are raps, one of them is just a genuine like skit. Uncle B skit, yeah, fuck that off, bun that off. Dooku Man skit, not as good, but in Love Live Life, there's, I think it's called Fearless. Is it Fearless? The Fearless skit? No, it just says skit interlude. What am I thinking of? I don't know. That skit, wow. The rap on that is mad. I love it. That being said, yeah, so Love Live Life, not the best. And then Love Live Life came out. Oh no, Against All Odds, not the best. Love Live Life came out, and I was a bit like, okay, I can get along with this. And by this point, I think Black Ops 2 had come out, or was it still Black Ops 1? All I remember is playing this on Nuketown, because on Xbox 360 you used to be able to play music while you're playing your games, sort of thing. I know you can still do that, but not a lot of people do. Anyway, so this had Best Behaviour. I remember sitting next to my friend Katie on the bus on the way to a school trip. I had my headphones on, and then she was like, "You're listening to n-dubz," and I was like, "Yeah, I am." And we just started bopping along to it on the way to this. Where did we end up? I think it was a history trip. I think we ended up in like Norfolk or something. I can't remember. Took it all away. It was good. Love Six OK. Tooted and Boot It. I still bob along to that. You guys know that I did that in like one of my previous rap lyrics videos. Cold Shoulder. So Alive. This is one with Skepta in it. I also did a lyric video on this. Probably one of my favourite ever tracks to feature Phaser in. Skepta on it banged. n-dubz did sick. I was loving it. Absolutely loving that track. And the skit interlude was good. And it had, for me, it was one of the ones where Uncle B as an album was probably the better album. Against All Odds never really hit well with me. Probably had some, did have some okay tracks, but this had the best selection of tracks. For me, I think I see more bangers on this that were like 9, 8 to 10 out of 10 compared to both Uncle B and Against All Odds, but Against All Odds for me was trash. Uncle B had the better sort of like everything was so average. Oh no, there was really good bangers, and then there was nothing that was genuinely shit on it, which is why I quite like that one as an album more. This one just had all the top songs. Love Live Life, Scream My Name, yeah, to a degree. Good bop along songs. Right, moving on. We come on to dubfx. Now, you guys won't know who he is. And if you do know who he is, then Biggie, you're a fan of me and I'm a fan of you. He's someone from the Netherlands as far as I'm aware. Oh no, he's Australian. Okay, so Benjamin Stanford, dubfx, is an Australian musician and worldwide street performer. So he was one of those, I won't say he was a busker, he probably was a busker to be fair for quite a while. But he put a video up on YouTube that was 7 minutes long in 2008, and it is in square format, not 1080p. It's in 360p, which really shows this. But it's had 28 million views now. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realise it was that high. So you've probably seen it. So what he does, and this is sort of where my love of not love, but interest in sort of beatboxing came about, because I saw this and thought, wow, this guy has pure talent. He can make beats. He loops it all together on the spot. He just makes absolutely great tracks. Yes, they're a bit sort of reggae, sort of vibey, sort of bop along, or in a sense they're a little bit deeper. And the lyrics that he's written for specific songs that he can then re-perform. So as long as he's got like a beat in his head, he'll do it. He'll add a melody to it. He'll then add some hi-hats. He'll then add like a low bass. And then he'll rap / sing along to it. And I thought, this is sick. So I was a fan of that. I then remember downloading his album off iTunes because I had an iPod at the time. What was it called? Let's YouTube it. n-dubz and see if his album comes up. There's some. I remember it being blue and there was a world. He also, I'm not sure whether it was a girlfriend or just someone he was with called Flower Fairy. I'll talk about her in a second. The album's called Everything's a Ripple. There we go. So that came out in 2012. So this is how long ago it is since I watched the video and then grabbed his album. Because I just remember going back to that video and I remembered all the lyrics. And I think he put Love Someone on this album. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. And I thought, you know what, this is sick. This is actually sick. Like, I'm enjoying all of this. He's made some absolute tunes. There was like 4 or 5 songs on there that I was like, these are actually really good songs, and he's becoming more of an artist, not just someone I used to watch on YouTube. And then fast forward to, I want to say about 2016. It must be 2016 because this is when these videos have been uploaded. And I was at a KSI gig. I went to go see the Did I go see the Keep Up tour? I got the ticket somewhere. But my mum got me tickets to go see JJ or KSI in Birmingham. And there was only about 200 of us in this venue. That was sick. I got to meet Mr. Silver. Lunacy was there. I'd been a fan of Don't Flop, the rap battles. I've been a fan of them for years, and I'm so sad to see them not do so well or not get too good over the past couple of years. But I was a big fan of Lunacy, and when I saw JJ do a track with Lunacy, I was like, oh, this is sick. And we went to Birmingham, and I was like, yo, hopefully JME is going to be there, because I was a fan of JME. And I thought, this is going to be sick. I can't wait. And then the next thing you know, Lunacy's there, and I'm thinking, I never even thought of that. I never thought that Lunacy would be here. He came on, did his single Mug, jumped in with JJ on Smoke and Mirrors. And my god, that whole gig is, I'd say hands down, one of my favourite gigs ever to have been in. It was just an absolute rave, JJ rapping along to his songs, and seeing JJ live, I'm not going to say he's not the best music artist you'll ever see, but he sure knows how to entertain a crowd. Wow, that was so good. Anyway, we're coming out of that, and my mum's come to pick us up, obviously, because me and my brother went. And I see on the poster, dubfx live in 2 months' time. And I'm like, is that the same guy? Because the videos he put up, there's one in Italy city centre, or not Italy's city centre, in Rome, I think it is. Or it might have been Venice. No, not Venice. It's got to have been Rome, hasn't it? Or Milan. He's in Amsterdam. I think he's in a bit of a square there performing. And he just sort of performs on the street. And I'm thinking, nah, he's not going to be in Birmingham. So I googled it, and he was in Birmingham. And I was like, Ben, dubfx is here. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, no. dubfx is here in like 2 months' time. And my brother was like, are you joking me? So we ran out, said to Mum, I was like, Mum, dubfx is going to be here in 2 months. And Mum was like, first of all, how was the concert? And I was like, gassed. And then she was like, who's dubfx? And I was like, oh right, yeah, it's this guy that me and Ben have liked for like years. And she was like, how much are tickets? And I looked and they were like a £5. But, and this was where the catch was, you had to have an adult present because obviously it is I don't want to just say like a reggae theme sort of thing, but it is sort of like a. They smoked a lot of weed and you could smell it when they walked on stage, sort of thing. Him and a little bit of his crew, some of the people he brought with him, and a lot of people that were at the venue, because it was quite like a vibey environment. And then someone was like, "I've got to come with you," and I was like, "Technically yes," because by this point, I think I was only just turning like 16 or 17, and it was like under 18s, or an adult present. And my mum was like, "I'm just gonna go sit in the corner and have a glass of wine or whatever while you and Ben rave to this." Anyway, so my mum being my mum, when we got there early. Because mum was like, "You've got to be early because there'll be queues." And I'm thinking, yeah, there's queues for like Pink and there's queues for top level artists. This guy's come from Australia, obviously. And there wasn't a queue. We got there like 20 minutes early and there was not even a queue. So we went for a Subway and got back there 5 minutes early. And there still wasn't a queue. So we got in pretty quick, pretty soon. And, you know, grabbed a Coke. And my mum was just sort of stood there at the front with us. Because obviously we got there early, there was no one there. My mum was like, "I'm not sitting down yet, I'll sit down when he sort of starts." And then we had these support acts that were really good. There was a beatboxer. There was these trio of beatboxers. There was like a proper singer. And my mum was like, "These are pretty sick." Next thing you know, the room's packed out. Because people have come, because it's just like a cheap concert and it's Birmingham City Centre. So anyone that's on a Friday or a Saturday night, whenever it was, anyone that's out will just come and join it anyway. So at this point my mum's like, "I can't move. I can't go and sit down, so I'm going to have to stay at the front with you two." And I was like, "Fair enough." And they would have, like, my mum loved it. And it's by far one of the best things I can say to my mum is, you didn't expect to love this, but you fucking loved it. And it was lit. He was so good. He was like saying, he was making these beats and then he was like, "Right, give me a topic." And we were like, I don't know, weed or politics or whatever it was going to be. Audience from the crowd. That was meant to be a suggestions from the audience or suggestions from the crowd. And he was like, "Right, I'm going to sing about this. I've already made the beat. I'm just going to go for it." And then he'd do it on the spot. And then he said, "Like, if any of you know my songs, give me some suggestions." And then there were some suggestions, and then he'd literally make his own songs up on, as in like the songs that he'd made on tracks on albums. He'd just then go and redo them, but with a loop machine. So he had a song, and then he'd make the beat for it with his mouth. He'd then rap along to it. He'd then add some melodies in halfway through. He'd then remix his own song and shuffle it into another one of his songs. And we were like... And then the next thing you know, me and my brother are singing all these lyrics. And it's mad. It was one of the most entertaining, like genuinely like mind-blowing things I've ever been to in my life. Like when you go to a concert, everything's sort of like preset. It's already done. You know, they've got a track list that they want to do. This was so off the cuff. It was that good. Me, my mum, my brother came out of it going, "Wow, that was genuine raw talent and entertainment," and we've witnessed that. So go and check out dubfx. Go and check out some of his live performances, because if he's ever back in the UK, I'm seeing him again. That was late. I even got a picture with him, and at the end, the guy was like, "Oh, how long have you known me?" Because a lot of the people that are in there left as soon as he ended. But he then went for a drink at the bar, and I think he came back, and we were like, "Can we take a picture?" And he was a bit like, "Yeah, go for it," because I think he's used to playing somewhere and people not genuinely knowing who he is, but more people going just because there's an event on, sort of thing. So we were like, "Oh, can I have a picture? I'm a big fan." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And he sat talking to us for a couple of minutes. And then he was like, "Oh, have you heard my 2 new albums I dropped yesterday?" And me and my brother were like, "No." Obviously, of course we haven't. And he was like, "Oh, wait there." So he went into the back, got us a USB stick full of all these tracks and just went, "Have him. See, if you enjoy him, enjoy him. If you don't, let me know why," sort of thing. And I was like... And it was... I think we went in May, because I remember it being near my brother's birthday. And he was like... Because my brother's 2 years younger, so that was another reason my mum wanted to come. And so, yeah, he was like, "Oh, happy birthday." And he was like, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Oh, Benny." He goes, "Oh, it's the same name as me." And it was just really cool to sort of interact with her. Like I say, I don't go to many gigs or concerts, so when you see these littler performances, or lesser known artists perform, I understand where that sense of sort of like, amazement comes from. You get to speak to them afterwards. You get to follow them. You get to sort of know them a little bit. Not like I've been to any more of his gigs, but it was just really nice. It was entertaining. It was raw talent. And it was just nice to meet the bloke afterwards. So yeah, go check it out. And the last one is a bit of an odd one because I only found out about this guy. Was it last year? Year before? I'm not entirely sure what this is now. Anyway, sorry, I was trying to read something and it didn't make sense. Yeah, so Ocean Wisdom is an artist that I'm a big fan of now. I was streaming was it a year or two ago? A year ago? I think I might have been playing Black Ops, something along those lines. Or it might have been FIFA. And someone said, yo, have you heard Ocean Wisdom? And by this point, this was like, I turned the music off in the FIFA menu straight away. So I didn't know he had a track on FIFA at all. And I was like, who? And I was thinking like Frank Ocean or someone like that. I was thinking, and then the guy was like, no, he's a grime. He's like a drill sort of grime rap artist sort of thing. And I was like, never heard of him, mate. And they were like, oh, he's from Camden, like Dappy. And I was a bit like, okay, just because you're from there doesn't mean you're an amazing rapper, sort of thing. So I don't usually take music requests. I think that's where I'm sort of getting to this. And then he was like, he's made a track with Dizzy Rascal. And I was like, okay, let's check him out. And Revin, that track, it just sort of hit my flow. That sort of fast rap, that sort of boppy beat. As long as a track has that, I'm golden, and I like that track. So I was bopping along to this, and I was like, whoever it was in the chat, I was just like, you're a god. Thank you for showing me this. I'll check out his album. Obviously, not knowing that earlier on, he'd already produced like an album or two or an EP. Anyway, so I check out more of his tracks, and right now, I would say my favourite track of recent years. I'm not going to put it all time because there's so many more iconic tracks. But probably my favourite, if anyone's to ask me what's your favourite track, I'm going to say Debo by Ocean Wisdom. That track for me is an absolute bop along. If you haven't heard it, check it out. I've rapped the lyrics to it in a previous rap lyrics video, but for me that is an outstanding sort of just the flow, the way he switches up flow halfway through and 3 or 4 times is ridiculous. The way he just raps along really quick, I like. The beat is mad. The lyrics don't even make sense, and it's still sick. It's just so good. If I was to go on to, I can't click on the Wizville album because that's the album it's from. Ocean Wisdom, Wizville. There we go. Let's see if I can get some tracks up. It's £10 in High Focus Records. Anyway, so you've got Tom and Jerry was the one that was on FIFA, I believe. That one is another track. Brick or Bat, sick. Eye Contact, Don. I didn't really like Don to begin with. It was one that I'd often skip over. Then I remember going to uni, and this is why this one's my more recent one. I went to uni, and I had this track on, and obviously when I was sat on the bus, I just used to leave my music playing. And I remember getting halfway through this thinking, yeah, it's alright. And then all of a sudden, probably the best sort of fast lyric verse I've ever heard comes on, and I'm like, I'm just glued, like, I don't understand the words, but this is sick. I will learn this one day, and I'm yet to learn it. Because it's so good, and it's so just fun to listen to. Ting Don's okay. Life, not entirely sure. Probably not as good, mainly because I can't recognise it just by the title. Righteous, it's up there as one of my favourite tracks of last year. It's just, I really enjoyed that track. There's 3 different types of rap going on all at once. You've got Ocean Wisdom's like fast rap. You've then got Rodney P coming in with the most London accent rap you'll ever heard of. I'm right to the righteous P. Oh yeah, that's me. That's the sort of like persona. And then Roots Maneuver is just sick. Burning a Bridge. That's another one that's, in terms of an actual song, probably not as good, but it's sort of like a beat and a body mover. It's just mint. Debo up there. I need weeks. I need a month. That one for me is one of the ones where it's slow to pick up, and then when that beat hits, you end up going like that. It's sick. Tiptronic, another one. Feet P Money. Top level for me. Flavors is okay. Less is more, but more is more. Is another one that I do like, but I'd never opt to listen to that over any others. Officer I quite like, and oh my god, Incidents feat Chester P. That one's deep. Hang on. No, it's Perspectives that's the deep one. Instance is still pretty deep, but I love it. Goose Fraba FM feat Rude Kid is okay, and then Menacing's top level. There's 21 tracks on this. Imagine giving me an artist that I've just grown to like and start enjoying, and then finding out his new album, Wizville, has 21 tracks for you to enjoy. That is amazing, and that's why I've happily put Wizville in one of my top 5 ever albums. Probably ever. Just because of how many absolute bangers I can listen to. I'm not going to say they're the best sort of iconic albums, but for me personally, this is in my top 5 easily, just because of how it hits for me and how I enjoyed them. That being said, I then started to check out his earlier music. Not as big as a fan / I haven't really listened to much of it, if I'm being totally honest, because this album's got so bloody much in it that it's hard to like broaden it any further than that. But I saw he did a track with Lunacy, and obviously from previous anecdotes, you know I like Lunacy. So I was like, that's absolutely litty. So let's see, what's the track called? And I must say, Lunacy is a sick artist. If you haven't got the not Squalor album, is it called Dirt Brain? Is this album called Dirt Brain? Yeah, this album called Dirt Brain. But yeah, get that from Lunacy. But Ocean Wisdom, let's type in Lunacy as well. What's the track called? It's called Gone. That's sick. Get it. That's on the Chaos 93 album. I haven't listened to that as much as I probably should, but yeah. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you want any more, if you want me to start doing these in terms of like footballers as well, and just ramble through a lot of things, because I quite enjoy doing these ramble videos, just sitting here talking to you guys. It's a half an hour long video. It's a long video for you to be sat here talking, but it's stuff I can tell stories about or really engage with you about, or you can just sit there and listen to it. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I shall see you later. Good.